Well, Eminem, I listened to your new album, and you start out with a kind of a nightmare in the beginning.
Yeah.
And I wonder, is that something that is that a nightmare that you had lately, or you've been away for a couple of years? Is that always kind of fun thing about it, about your?
Nah, I mean, it wasn't even like, I think what made me make a song like that more than anything was the beat. When I heard it, when I got the beat from Dre, I remember taking it in the next room and just kind of zoning out. And it just felt like, I mean, the beat was so dark, it just made me, I don't know, the first words came to mind, the horror corridor thing, and I just blacked out and just wrote it.
Yeah.
And it felt, the beat felt dark to me, so.
But what about the album title then, Relapse? Is it something that you fear that you've been down in a dark valley in a way and now you're back? Or how is it?
I mean, you could look at it like that. I mean, the way that I look at it more than anything is, I guess a kind of a double entendre, like relapsing in the literal sense, which I've done, and relapsing back to what first, I guess, made me famous. The first two records, like the Slim Shady LP and the Marshall Mathers LP. I kind of wanted to take it back to those days, and
Was it kind of a new start for you? You felt that you had to look back a bit to find that feeling again, or how was it?
Well, definitely it was a new start. I feel like I almost feel like I'm reintroducing myself to the world. This is, I mean, I got a second wind. It's kind of what I feel like right now. Refreshed.
How self-assured were you that you still had it, if you understand what I mean, when you started working on the album? Did you know that I'm going to do this, it's going to be fine, or did you have your doubts?
Yeah, I definitely had my doubts. I mean, I went through 3 or 4 years of having my doubts. Like if I, there was a point in time where I didn't know if I had it at all anymore. I had a pretty bad case of writer's block, and I would try to put my thoughts down on paper, and it just wasn't the same. Nothing I did was felt like, the earlier magic that I used to have. You know what I mean? It just felt like it was kind of gone. And by getting sober and, my mind clearing up, and just me being able to think again and function normally again, everything just kind of felt like it was coming back,
Was it so? I can understand it's hard to describe in a short interview like this, but can you try to describe how it was to get to this circle of spiraling down to hell where you can't get up and you just need to get the pills and the drugs?
Yeah, well, let me try to make a long story short, I guess. When I came out of rehab in 2005, I wasn't really ready to get clean. Like, I kind of knew it in the back of my mind. Everyone else it felt like everyone was ready for me to, but I wasn't. So, relapsed and started taking Vicodin, started with the Vicodin again, and then started with the Valium again, and then the Valium wasn't strong enough. First I would start with, I would go from Vicodin, and then I'm having trouble sleeping at night, so let me take some NyQuil. And then the next day or 2 days, NyQuil's not strong enough, so I need to go to the doctors. I need another prescription. I need Valium. Now I gotta call my dope dealer. You know what I mean? So started, I would start back with the NyQuil was a big trigger, and then Valium, and then the Valium wasn't strong enough. So now I need Ambien, and now I need this, to sleep every single night. I can't go to sleep without it. And then your tolerance gets higher and higher the more you do, and then you lose your best friend, and everything from that point on is just like, fuck it. It kind of was an excuse in my head for me to use more, to take more, because this just happened, so it's okay to take this much. And then your tolerance gets so high that, you end up overdosing, you know what I mean? And then everything from that moment, it just, you gotta make a decision. Like, what you want to do with your life, you know. I mean, I relapsed twice. I relapsed once when I came home from rehab, and then was, you know, spiraled, and then relapsed after my overdose. I relapsed again, you know, and just came to the point in my head where I was just like, I can't keep doing this. It's gonna happen again if I don't. You know what I mean? So basically made the decision like I wanna stop now. You know?
Yeah, it's just up to you yourself.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm thinking, what's the question here, but I'm thinking of like a colleague of yours, Dave Gahan from Depeche Mode. It seems that you're a rock star, you're a pop star, you have all people around you, but you seem to be very lonely. Is that the feeling that you have since you had your big breakthrough 10 years ago, that you in a way are lonely?
Well, I mean, I don't necessarily feel like that. As far as like being lonely or whatever, you know, I've got my kids, I've got my friends, I've got enough friends in my circle that, you know, I'm happy in that aspect. So I mean, you know, I guess you could say feeling lonely in the sense of I don't really, not really trying to make a bunch of new friends. You know what I mean? It's really hard to do that and hard to trust new people. But you know, I've kept the same friends that I've had since pretty much childhood, so I'm happy in that sense. You know.
That's good. I understand that Dr. Dre is, of course, very important for you. Now, how do you work together? And how was it different this time when you started again with this job?
Well, the way we work together is pretty much, it's the same as it kind of always was. You know, we get in the studio, he starts making beats, and he'll, let's say he comes to Detroit to work on my record. He'll come with some beats that he's already made and give me a CD, and I'll take it in the next room and start writing, and meanwhile he's in the next room making tracks, and then I'll finish with that batch of, you know, that CD of 20-some beats or whatever may be on there, 12 beats, it doesn't matter. And then I'll kind of, like, if I feel like I'm done with that CD, I'll go in and get another one. You know, it's kind of like a factory, and he just keeps kicking them out, and I just, you know, like a kid in a candy store, because I just get my pick of, like, everything.
So when you get going, you're really going?
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Okay. But you had a problem there with just stopped for you, or when you couldn't do anything?
Yeah, I mean, like I said, the whole time that, you know, I was using, it was, you know, it was a damper on my mood. It was making me depressed. You know, the depression was making me want to take more pills. You know, it was kind of, I mean, you know, everything with the proof thing happening was bad, you know, and it got into this vicious cycle of I'm depressed, so I need more pills, you know, and now I'm taking more pills, so now I'm more depressed than I was. You know what I mean? Everything I was taking was sedatives. It was all downers, and it just, I mean, it made my mood, like it was making my brain think slow. Every song I was making was slow, and just the way everything about me was slow at that point in time.
Now when you did this album, the new one, it's a great one, really. Did you look back, and in that case, if you look back on Slim Shady and all that album, Marshall Mathers, how would you say that you have matured over these 10 years?
Well, I mean, yeah, I mean, I've certainly matured as far as, like, I feel like in my personal life, I've matured about some things, but musically, I may have immatured. You know, by listening to this record, I've kind of went back to, you know, the first two records, like I was saying. But
and how does that feel to be?
Feels great.
Yeah.
It was fucking great, buddy.
Because I sat, you know, I listened to my son was really, he's a big fan, he's 12 years old, and he really loves this album, and he thinks it's kind of back to the roots in a way. So,
yeah.
So where you to get further, of course, to look back is good kind of medicine to go that way.
Yeah.
Good method.
Yeah, it was relapsing.
Relapsing, yeah, of course, yeah. I understand that you had a tough background, but that has also, of course, fed you lyrically, isn't it? Or musically.
Yeah, I mean, my childhood certainly wasn't the greatest, you know, but I always, I guess, took that and the learning experiences from my childhood and life lessons and kind of was able to apply them